Hey guys, another video, CVR POV. As you can see, we've got a little Nissan Micra here, 2005, and the headlights are pretty cabbaged. Really letting the car down, because I've just done a bit of paint work on her. We're just tidying it up. We're going to tackle these now because they look horrible, don't they? So before I begin, just very quickly, obviously as normal, no BS. I'm not going to yap on for first 20 minutes of the video. It's very quick. There's quite a few videos on the internet, on YouTube, how to repair these, but you know, if you're just trying to remove this corrosion and then polish it back up, it just it won't last. So we're going to do something today what's going to make it last. First things first, we're just going to protect the surrounding areas. I'm just going to use some masking tape. Don't worry, it's not really fancy tape, it's just yellow. You could use any kind of tape, decorator's tape, duct tape, whatever you've got, as long as you protect these edges, because we're going to start sanding down this in a minute. So I'm just going to get on with that. So we're going to need some sandpaper in this method. We're not going to be doing it by machine. We're just going to keep it really DIY, something you can do on your drive without any equipment. So we've got 600, 800, 1000, 1200, two 1200s. We didn't need both, and then 1500. So we're just going to really quickly start removing this corroded top surface. Keep a cloth on hand just for drying any work that we've done, so we can have a look. So I've just moved the camera slightly and zoomed in a little bit. This bit here, down here, this is where the remaining UV finish, shall we say, probably the original finish, perhaps it's been refinished, but this is kind of what it should look like as it's removed. This is the edge of where we're trying to remove the remaining clear coat, or the UV coating that was on top of the lens. Obviously with sun damage being on the top, it's perhaps damaged the top area quicker than the bottom area, so there's a bit more to remove down here. So we can just see that dark shadow, we're just chasing it down now as we're removing that layer. So that is all completely removed, and that's with the 600. Obviously it leaves a mess, as in scratches, so that's the most coarsest sandpaper we're going to use on this method. So now we're going to go through the stages and the grits to try and refine the finish, ready for spraying. So now we're going to grab our 800 paper and we're going to do exactly the same thing again. We're going to wet the area, and then we're just going to start sanding all over the bits that we've already done before. So that's now been completely sanded with 800, so 600, then 800. And if you want a little progress cheat check, and you should have some of this when you're doing this anyway, if you just use some panel wipe or degreaser, get it on a rag, just smear it round. It can give you a kind of indication of where you're at with the progress. If there's any shadows or anything on the lens, then that's probably some of the old clear UV coating that's still remaining on there. That needs to come off. And if there's any like really coarse scratches, obviously we've still got some greys to work through, but it just gives you a little bit of an indication of how we're getting on. Next up, it's 1000. We're just going to go over it all again. Same again with 1200. Now we're going to go over it with 15. So I've just remasked around the edge now that we're ready for some spray application, and I'm just going to mask around the surrounding area to stop the overspray hitting the body panels. So yeah, you can either use, I've got some brown roll here because that's what I use day to day, but just newspaper's fine, or I don't know, a bin liner, whatever you've got. So we're going to now degrease, clean the area, ready for a spray or paint application. So put it on a rag or a cloth, because we need this completely clean of any contaminants, waxes, grease. Anytime we've touched it with our hands. And then I normally use like a second dry bit of cloth, paper towel, just wipe it off. Okay, so that should be ready now for the next stage. So to seal in the work that we've done and renovate the finish how we want it, we're going to be now applying a clear top coat, a lacquer to the area, which is going to make it look factory hopefully, and also protect the area for many months and years to come. You see, the problem sometimes is when you just polish it up at, say if we took the grades a bit further and polished it up, it just doesn't last, unfortunately. So this, I think, is the best way of permanently repairing these headlamps. So today's product is Pro XL Pro 2K Clear, and this is going to be a 2K clear coat. So just quickly, 2K or 2-pack normally means there's 2 components to it, so it's something you have to mix together. Once it's mixed, it's activated, and then it's effectively live, and you get a set amount of time to use it before it goes completely hard and solid. The reason why that's probably the one that I like to go for is it's the most durable, and it's going to last. A lot of the time 1K products with lacquers especially, they just don't last. They've just not got that longevity. So yeah, this is the one we're going to use today. Quick side note, if we're ever using any kind of spray products, particularly 2K, you need to wear a mask and preferably some gloves, so just a bit of a safety warning there. So if we just look at the can, it's actually got a little pin on the bottom, a bit like a grenade. So we're going to pull that pin out and give it a good shake, and then once that is done, that's when the clear coat is activated. It mixes within the can, and then we're ready for spraying. So you're only going to get a set amount of time to spray it, and once the can's been done, it's not reusable. So if you've got any other bits to spray, if you're doing some headlights like some wing mirror covers or anything like that, then there's probably going to be some product left. Definitely going to be some product left. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. Just very quickly, as with any product, just give a read on the back as to what it says. So just quickly, it says surface must be clean, dry and dust free. We've done that. Remove the cap from the base, insert the metal ring, that's the metal ring to pull the pin out. Applying cross coats from a distance of 250 millimeters from the object, so we want to be sort of there. Okay. Drying time 30 to 60 minutes. Infrared compatible. Can be mechanically polished after 24 hours. After use, turn the aerosol upside down. Well, it shouldn't really matter so much, the last bit. So yeah, that's basically it. So let's go for it. I always like to just heat the can up as well with a heat gun or a hairdryer. Obviously ask permission of the wife if you need to use the hairdryer. And as the product says, give it a shake for 2 minutes before use. So we're just going to apply the first top coat. Help it along a little bit to dry, especially if it's cold with a heat gun or a hairdryer. So one thing I like to do as an indicator of whether to put a second coat on is just feel the masking tape around it. If it's sort of tacky, then it's probably ready for another coating of the lacquer, second coat. We're only going to do 2 coats, we've done the first one. Sometimes people put coat after coat after coat, but sometimes you can risk trapping the solvents in and causing reactions. So we're just going to do, that's the first coat, and now we're going to do the second coat. So we're not drying it, I've got that about 50 centimetres away, 40 centimetres, so we're just blowing some warm air across it. We don't want to force dry it too much, we just want to kind of help it along. So that is effectively done now, although I am going to add one more stage to it if you are still with us, and we are just going to sand it back a little bit and then polish it up just to get an absolutely perfect finish. For example, if you've got, I don't know, a fly's landed in it, or you've got a few bits or a couple little bits of shrapnel that you're not happy with, I'm just going to show you very quickly the last final process. But you could leave it like that, but we're just going to take it one stage further. So this is presuming that you've left it 24 hours as the aerosol can states, so it's fully cured, it's fully dry, and we've just got a few little bits in it. It looks amazing, but just for in case, I don't know, some bits have landed in it, or more bits shall we say, or you want that absolutely perfect finish, I'm just going to add this little bit to the tutorial so that we can achieve that. We're back now with the 2000 paper, and we're just going to wet the surface up again, and we're just literally going to wet sand it. So if we just check that quickly, and then we'll zoom in a little bit. I think the camera's picking up. So we can see there was a bit there, and we can see they're also flattened some of the orange peel out of it. So that might have been something that you've noticed. I didn't particularly notice it. I know there's a bit up there. So as we can see, the 2000 papers just got rid of that. Obviously you can't keep sanding it and sanding it and sanding it. There is a limit to what we put on. But 2000 is quite a mild grit, so we can afford to give it a fairly good sanding down. Always remember to keep checking your work, as with any wet sanding. Zoom back out. A little bit on there, not happy with. Okay. We're just going to apply now some compound. I like this Freckle G360, comes in a handy little tube from Paint Gear products. It's got a drill adapter, buffing pad. And that is polished up, so let's have a quick look. Now that does look awesome. That does look awesome. I'm just going to flick back to how that looked before, just for a comparison. Look at that. What a difference. It looks like brand new. All done, potentially from home. Very basic products, fully DIY. That's an awesome result. If you like that video, guys, please hit like. Please subscribe if you already haven't. And leave a comment below. Thanks, guys.